Good, buddy. Come here, puppy. Good boy. Okay, we are down here with Henley for our week 1 video recap. In this video, we're going to go over all of the things that we practiced with the puppies in this first week. So you can see how they're doing, and then in subsequent videos how they're progressing. So we're always going to start with a little bit of play. We want to get these puppies moving and grooving down here in the training space. We want them happy, comfortable, and confident. Good boy, Henley. What is that? Henley really likes this octopus. Get it. Good job. Let's see if he likes the flirt pole. Ooh, you gonna lay down? Look what I got. He's like, oh, I got a pile of toys right here. Here we go. Play is also incredibly important to teach your puppy bite inhibition. So bite inhibition means how the puppy uses their mouth. We don't want them using a hard mouth. No, we don't want them mouthing and biting at us. And so play is a great way to teach them an appropriate way to use their mouths. And every time that you play with your puppy, you want to play with them with a toy. Now you make sure that they're targeting the toy and not our hands or our pant legs or other types of clothing or body parts, right? Good boy. And right now, Henley's really interested in the flirt pole. And this is a really nice toy for puppies because they can chase the toy, they can catch and bite the toy, we can play a little bit of tug. But as you can see, Henley's way out there and I'm over here. And he just doesn't really have as much of an option to bite at me because he's so focused on the toy. Oh my goodness, you got a good grip on that, buddy. So now we're playing a little bit of tug, but if I win it back, then he'll probably chase it a little bit again. Good boy. Give me that toy. Give me that toy. You're a lazy boy. He wants to take his toys and lay down with them. Yeah. Good boy. Now when we move into our training exercises in just a minute here, we are going to be using food. And we're going to be also using a marker system. So the reward marker is going to tell the puppy when they did it right, and it's always going to be followed by a food reward. The reward marker that we're using for these dogs is the verbal marker, yes. So you'll see in a second here when we get started, the very first exercise that we're going to do, woo-hoo-hoo-hoo, I got it back. The very first exercise that we're going to do is charge the reward marker. So why don't we do some of that now before he catches this again. Woo-hoo-hoo, we'll pull this back out in a second. So I'm going to get some of my food. And I'm just going to say, yes. Bring my food hand down. Good boy. Feed him a treat. We're going to do that 3 times in a row. Yes. Good job, Henley. Yes. So when I say the word, what I'm looking for is that the puppy's anticipating that they're going to get a piece of food. They're moving into me and that they're learning to take the food from my hands. Oh, are those more toys? Another foundational step before we move on to some other things is that we need to teach the puppy to follow a food lure in our hand. Following the food lure is how we get the dog to move into the different positions or to follow us or, whatever it is that we're working on. So we need to make sure that the puppy really understands that when there's food in your hand, we want them to stay connected to it. So Henley's going to take a few steps. Yes. Then I'm going to mark that and let him have a piece of food that's in my hand. And you can practice this with both your left hand and your right hand. Yes. Good job. Let's do that one more time. Yes. And the very last thing that we can do with this exercise is we can also pair the puppy's name to following the food lure. Henley. Yes. And that starts to teach the puppy some name recognition, so what their name is. Following the food lure in your hand and saying their name. Now we're going to use the food lure to teach him how to get into a position. So we've been working on this all week. I'm going to show Henley that I've got a piece of food. I'm going to ask him, sit, yes. And I'm luring him into the sit position with the food that's in my hand. As soon as he finds the position, we mark with the word yes, and we release the cookie. So let's do that one again. Sit, yes. What a very good boy. So all the exercises in our recap video, we're going to do them like 2 or 3 times. What is that? Just because we're going through everything and I don't want the puppy to get too full. And after we do a few things, we are going to take a little play break. Wow! Here's your flirt pole. Get it. Uh-oh, don't get tangled. Did you get it? Oh, and then we lay down. He's so funny. You're such a boy. Give me that. Give me that toy. We're tangled under your elbow. There we go. Uh-oh. I got it. I got it. Oh, he loves it. He loves the flirt pole. Good boy, Henley. I'm going to let him catch it again. Good job. It's important, especially for something like the flirt pole, that you let the puppy chase a little bit and then you let him catch it. If you never let him catch it, it'll start to get boring and they won't want to chase it anymore. Good boy. You got it. You want to do a couple more things? So the next exercise we're going to do is called a hand target. It's very similar to the food lure. Oh, I got it. But it's different because my hand is actually going to disconnect from the puppy. So watch what I mean. And I'm going to mark and reward the puppy when he reconnects with my hand. Okay, so he's on the food lure. Henley, touch. Yes. You see how I disconnected from him, and then as soon as he reconnected, mark and feed the cookie. Henley, touch. Yes. Good dog. Let's do that one more time. Henley, touch. Yes. Good boy. You are so smart. Another exercise that we introduced in week 1 is the first step in the mat behavior. This behavior will turn into a stay, but we teach it in little baby steps for these little baby puppies. Then put the mat down on the ground, and this week, all I want, yes, is for the puppy to come over to the mat, they get feed on, and I'm going to feed them more than 1 cookie for being on the mat. In our recap video, I'm just feeding them twice because I don't want them to get full. But if all you are doing is working on the mat in 1 session, okay, get it. Then you could certainly feed the puppy more than once. These release cookies, they have to learn that they can find them on the ground. Okay, so then we're just going to pick up the mat and move it. We're going to do that again. Hey, puppy. Yeah, I know, I kicked that toy. That was very interesting, huh? Yes, good boy. And right now, like he's actually offering laying down on the mat right now. I'm not requiring that. I just want him to be generally on the mat. But if he gives me a lay down, that's nice already too. Okay, get it. Good boy. Very nice. All right, the next thing what we're going to do with Henley is get him dressed in his harness. So it's important that we start socialization with different types of gear with the puppies at a young age. We want them to be comfortable when they have to get different things, get dressed in different things. So the harness is one of them. He's like, oh, is it a toy? Is that another toy? Come here, big guy. Ugh. You're huge compared to your litter mates. So we're going to slip his feet in, get this Velcro piece, set him down, give him a cookie for that. There it is. Sometimes in the first week with the harness, they act like they're paralyzed. Some of them don't seem to care at all. See how he laid down? He's like, oh my goodness, I have a straitjacket on. There you go. Good boy, Henley. Then we can maybe toss some cookies around, get him up and get him moving. We'll probably get him to try to play again in a little bit here. Get it. Yeah, there we go. So basically I just want to get them dressed in the harness and get them moving around so they're not really thinking about the fact that it's on. Where's your toy? Oh, yeah, remember how fun that is? Good job. Good boy. Here we go. Let him chase and then let him catch it. Now we're playing a little tug. Good boy. Just steady opposition when we play tug. I'm not trying to drag the puppy across the ground. Boop, boop, boop. Wow. Look at you, very comfortable in your harness. That's a good boy. Get it. Nice. You caught it. Uh-oh. It got away. Whoop. Good boy. So each week we'll have them wear their harness for a little bit longer. Just a couple minutes in week 1, a little bit of play. Actually, he seems pretty comfortable in it, so I'll leave it on him for the last exercise, which is going to be a little bit of handling. When I say handling, this is how the puppy will be handled at the groomer and the vet hospital. Your puppy's going to require a lifetime of grooming and veterinary care, so it's very important that we socialize them to how they're going to be handled at those places at a young age so that they stay comfortable with it. Good boy. Boop, boop. All right. I'm gonna steal this back from him. Grab a couple more pieces of food. And see if he's not too tired, if he wants to finish up with this. What do you think? He's like, oh yeah, I'm still into that. Okay. So I'm going to hold the food in front of his nose, and then with my other hand, I'm going to get my hand underneath his belly. See that? Yes. I'm going to give him a little bear hug, a little bit of restraint. Mark that and release the cookie. Then I'm also going to, yes, handle a couple different body parts. His ear. Yes. His tail. Good boy. Let's do a leg. Yes. Good job, buddy. So a little bit of restraint, handling a few of his different body parts, and marking that and feeding him a treat. So pairing something positive with being handled. Just kind of run through those things once. I don't do them over and over again. Just one time is fine. Maybe at the beginning or the end of your little training session. Okay, so just to recap, we started with charging our marker word. Then we moved on to following the food lure and pairing that with his name for a little bit of name recognition. We also practiced hand targets and sits, the first step in the mat behavior, getting him dressed in his harness and playing a little bit, and then finally we wrapped it up with some of these handling exercises. Now, I want you to make sure that you check out the video library that contains more detailed instructional videos on how to train all these behaviors, so you know what to keep working on once the puppy goes home and how to do it yourself. And you're going to want to make sure that you get your puppy's Zoom lesson booked before they go home. I just added a whole bunch of availability for October. The links to do both of those things, to find the video library and also to book your Zoom lesson, found in your initial confirmation email. So make sure that you have reviewed that, and we'll see you next week.